Welcome along to episode 42 of the Top Loaded podcast. And yeah, we're not mentioning World Cup. Actually, we will talk about it, but it was a rather interesting night last night. Actually played really well. But Harry, how are you doing?
Yeah, I hoped I'd be on it this morning in a bit of a better mood than I am at the moment. But yeah, I was disappointed, disappointing night last night. Obviously to finally, I guess, exit the World Cup. But yeah, apart from that, I'm not doing too badly. Freezing me nuts off, but that time of year in it.
Yeah, it's definitely different to the weather we're normally associated with the World Cup, being like the last week of it. It's normally about 25 degrees, sun's out, the shorts are out, the t-shirts are out. It's definitely. I think when I left the house this morning to go to the just to go for a walk, I don't know why I done that. It was about minus 1.5, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm turning back round. I'm not walking out in this." It was still
Get down the
frozen.
road and that's it. Slipping around everywhere.
I literally see a car try and go up my hill, and the wheels just spinning where it was the ice. I was like, "Yeah, not happening." Back inside, watch some cricket. But like I say, might as well discuss the week of the World Cup to begin with, and it's been quite an interesting week. The quarterfinal's been interesting, I'd say. Obviously, two upsets in Morocco becoming the first African nation to qualify for a semi-final, well deserved as well. I think any team who only concede one goal during the tournament, and that's an own goal, is it's a brilliant achievement. Don't matter where they're from, and I've no doubt if they were a European team or an English team, French, they'd go mental about how good their defence is. So I think it's well deserved, and they defended so well against Portugal.
Yeah, obviously two massive upsets from an African team, obviously knocking out Spain, and then also Portugal as well. So, I mean, I know obviously they were saying a lot on the TV last night about is it a missed opportunity that obviously we had a chance to play Morocco, but I honestly at this point don't think you can write Morocco off. I think they're the sort of team you need to get a goal first, because if you concede first, like they did against Portugal, they'll just sit back for the following 45 minutes and just defend like their lives depend on it. Which again, obviously, kudos to them. The defence is absolutely incredible, and they're fully deserved to knock out Spain and Portugal. But I don't think it's going to be too much of an easy ride for France. I think they're going to defend very well against France as well. Arguably, we were the better team yesterday and could have taken France to extra time and then obviously potentially penalties. But yeah, I think they're the first African team to qualify for the quarters and the semis. I think, isn't it? I think could be wrong, but it's definitely the semis. But obviously, yeah, massive achievement for Morocco. And like I said to you before coming here, I said I really actually hope they get to the final. They beat France and give them a shot at winning the World Cup. It'd be a really different World Cup final. Obviously, I think everyone was sort of going for the likes of Brazil, the likes of Argentina, Portugal, whoever. But yeah, I don't think anybody expected Morocco nor Croatia to be in the final four.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of people in sweepstakes who would have been very unhappy when Morocco was drawn out. Now thinking, actually, you know what? I've gone further than someone who was laughing around their offices with Brazil. So fair. I've seen a few people their sweepstakes saying, "Oh, I had Morocco." Definitely, when they got it, they threw the piece of paper in the bin and was like, "This is ridiculous. There's no point having these." But they're guaranteed now to have 7 games at the World Cup with the third and fourth playoff as well. So they've done very well. And looking at the other side, so obviously you just mentioned Croatia, but it was a very nail-biting game as well for Argentina against the Netherlands with the best free kick set piece under pressure probably there ever been in football in the 100th minute of a World Cup quarter final. To draw it back to 2, obviously went on to lose the game of penalties, but that was a very good ending to that game let me just say, after the 17 yellow cards.
Yeah, I think if anyone watches any FIFA YouTubers or in particular Harry Hesketh, you'll know the free kick tutorial. I think that's literally what Netherlands did in the 100th minute against Argentina. But yeah, obviously it was a really good game. I really thought Argentina were through when they went 2 up. Obviously, bring on the big old Weghorst, and yeah, pulls off an absolute madness to take them to penalties. But one of them game in Emi Martinez pulled us 2, obviously, ex-Arsenal keeper pulled off 2 massive, massive saves in the first 2 Dutch penalties. But yeah, it's been, I know, some massive upsets, some good games so far. And like I said, obviously, Croatia are through and Argentina by the skin of their teeth are through. Not sure I particularly agree with the way the Argentinians celebrated. I don't think it's particularly very sportsmanship the way they're celebrating in front of the Dutch players. Obviously, all the arguments that kicked off, and obviously, as you said, 17 yellow cards. I think the highlight was when was it Enzo? I think it was. Obviously, took out Nathan Ake and pelted the ball straight into the Dutch bench was obviously, it is a bit funny, but in the same breath, it's probably not the best way to, not the best end to kick a ball into. But yeah, it's very, very excited now. Looking forward to seeing obviously who can get into the final next Sunday. I'm going to ask your predictions, probably more realistic and what you would like to see. But yeah.
Realistically, I think it's all going to be set up for Messi to win the World Cup. Not saying any conspiracy theories with officiating, VAR, FIFA, and the Qataris, but I'm going to say Argentina France final. But I would love to see a Croatia Morocco, just for the sole fact of it's a different winner of it. Both teams have played really well, and well, if they can get to the semi final, they can win it. And especially Morocco, what a nice story that would be for every nation. Obviously, this is the last World Cup of 32 teams before it goes to 46. And the next World Cup will feature 9 African teams as well, rather than 4. So it'll give them, the 5 other qualifying nations, a much bigger hopes going into the Mexico, US, and Canada World Cup. So I really hope Morocco are in the final, especially beating France. But we're saying that everyone thought France would beat England most likely over 90 minutes, but we've done really well. So hopefully Morocco can do what we didn't, and hopefully they score a penalty if they get one.
Yeah, I think, I would love to see an Argentina Morocco final. I really would. And I don't think it's too unrealistic to say that either, given the way that Morocco played against Spain and Portugal. Obviously, going off paper, it's more than likely to be a Argentina France final. I think it'd be quite a good Messi and Mbappe matchup. But yeah, I don't think it's too unrealistic to say Morocco could get to the final, given the way they played against Spain and obviously Portugal. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing whichever way it goes. I think it's going to be 2 very, very close and good semi-finals. But I think we had our predictions, didn't we? Couple of episodes ago. Can't remember for the life of me. I think I said like Belgium, like the underdog team. God knows why I said that. But yeah, I'm hoping that Messi can lift the trophy one more time as an Argentinian playing for the national team, and just prove he is better than Ronaldo.
Yep, who's looks like he's going to Saudi Arabia for a load of money. So fair play to him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind 0.00001% of that contract. Not alone the, I think $200 million, 2.5 year deal, which they was breaking it down. I see on Twitter, and it works out stupid. Even every second, it's like $20 a second or something along that line. So fair play to him. Like I just read his statement he put out on Instagram, pretty much confirming that was his last, obviously, World Cup, which is respectful. But the one stat I was very surprised, before we go on to talk about the cards that we're really here for, is in 5 World Cups, Cristiano Ronaldo never scored in a knockout game. I think it's quite an intriguing stat of, yes, he's scored quite a few goals. I think he's got 9 overall, 8 or 9. I think it was 9 overall in the end, or 10 even potentially. All come in the group stage. So it's a rather interesting one, because then people obviously look at Kylian Mbappe. He's obviously already doing very well in the scoring charts at the World Cup, who scored in a World Cup final. So it just proves that even the best of players of all-time football can struggle in knockout stages. So yeah, I was just really surprised by that stat when I read it last night, of a player of his quality never scored in a knockout game.
Yeah, it's a weird stat you probably didn't expect to see. You think of Ronaldo, he's a big time Portuguese player, and he's a massive contribution to the national team. But I guess nobody. I mean, I didn't sit here thinking you were going to say that stat. I thought, oh yeah, Ronaldo, he scores goals for fun for Portugal. But to hear he's never scored a goal in a knockout stage, or knockout game, should I say, it's quite interesting. Could go as more evidence towards why Messi's better than Ronaldo. But I'm not going to start banging on about that. But yeah, so it's a really, really interesting stat, and not one that I'm sure other people expected to hear.
No, definitely. Moving on to the lovely world of cards this week, and obviously there was a big release. When I mean big release, it was definitely a big release when it was released at £4,695 for 40 cards, and that's the next edition in the line of Topps Chrome products for a certain team. So we've had Salzburg, we've had PSG, which is the big one, Bayern Munich, and the next one in the list, actually, I think there's been Real Sociedad and Atletico Madrid as well. So we're quite a few into it now, and this one was Dortmund. And lucky enough for Tops, this is last year's Dortmund's team, not this year's Dortmund team. Even though this year you'd have a couple more younger players, obviously one Erling Haaland did move, but was in the set. So 20 base cards numbered, obviously all numbered. You can get one of ones, or worst comes to worst, autos. You look out for obviously Jude Bellingham autos. You've got Kareem Adeyemi. Adeyemi's not it. Makoko, who's ridiculous for his age. Erling Haaland. So $5,000. This is my question for you. This was a really interesting one. I was watching Lucas at TFF open his box, and he asked a question for $5,000. Say roughly, realistically, do you have to hit one of the big three guys 10 or less to make your money back for that kind of money?
Yeah. I don't think there's probably any other way around it. I think the answer is yes. Same with Atletico Madrid. We were talking about it, I believe, with, I think it was Max at South Coast. And we were saying, though, if you're not hitting João Felix, realistically, is the only one in the Atletico Madrid set that I can think of that stands out. You're just hitting general auto cards. I think it's the same for Dortmund. I think, unless you're hitting a Bellingham or a Haaland, in order to make your money back at least, I think you need to hit one of those two autos at a low number in order to even make any dent in your money back. Not to say that Dortmund haven't got upcoming players and players that could be worth money in a few years, but in my opinion, I think you need to hit a Bellingham or a Haaland, to 25 or less. I think, in my opinion, is an auto in order to make even a little bit of your money back. And that's not guaranteed. You say you're going to hit both autos, or are they guaranteed in every box?
Guaranteed both, yeah. Well,
yeah, they are guaranteed, yeah.
Unless
supposedly
should be guaranteed.
So yeah, if you're hitting both of them, let's say like a base auto, you're making what, K and a half back. So I think the prices are always going to be extortionate for these top chrome boxes. We saw it with the way they implemented PSG, and again, it's the same with that. You won't be hitting a Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe low numbered auto to even make a margin of your money back. And I think it's the same with Dortmund. It's been the same with any team. They're priced at such an exceptionally high price point. So for me, yeah, you're going to have to hit a Bellingham and a Haaland realistically 25 or less, I think, to make even the smallest of your money back.
Yeah, fair. Like, I'm just reading through the checklist. Obviously, it's no doubt you can't have a team full of superstars and every single car is going to sell for 500 or more. We see it with every set, how there's more expensive and there's cheaper players. It's naturally going to happen. But the list obviously is Gregor Kobel, Dan Axel, Zagadou, Nicole Schultz, Manuel Kanji, Mats Hummels, Rafael Guerrero, Thomas Meunier, Emre Can, obviously Jude Bellingham, Axel Witsel, Mohamed Dahoud, Julian Brandt, Forgan Hazard, Giovanni Reina Jesus, Daniel Marlin, Marco Reus, Angus Knaff, Erling Haaland, and Yusuf Makoko. So it's an interesting list. And the thing I was thinking through my head of like, the thing what PSG set really got everyone really excited for was it was Mbappe's first auto. So it brought me to think of how many of these players have had autos before. Because that might up the price slightly for a player. And I was looking through it, and a lot of these Dortmund players have already had autos in sets. So it really does bring a bit less of the value. So realistically, like you say, I think the three main chases obviously Bellingham and Haaland and Makoko. So you've got to hit it low numbered. And obviously, you've got to pray for not much damage because we've all seen in these chrome sets before that they're prone to damage. And no doubt the autos, you're always going to get some sort of damage on because the players don't know true value of some of these cards. Bellingham should now because he's got his own crate set, which we'll come to. But it's natural that you're going to get scratches, you're going to get dings. But for the prices, and when I was watching Lucas open his box, some of the damage on it was pretty scuffed up. But then what I was thinking of, a lot of players, if they've got the metal strap on their watch, if they're signing it with it on that, well, there you go, scratch. It's going to be quite simple. And it doesn't help when Makoko doesn't sign in the box and signs halfway up his chest. And it's like a massive diagonal one, which it's cool to have a big auto, but then not cool when you can't really see it. So, like I say, it's a really nice, the actual design is really nice. Obviously, they're famous for the goal, the stand behind their goal, nicknamed the Yellow Wall. So the actual pattern is a wall design, which I think is really clever. I think they've actually thought about the design on this one. So no doubt, I think a lot of people would like to pick up a Bellingham variation or a Haaland one or Makoko, but it's actually just a really nice set. And obviously the price is where it's at because it is expensive top of the line chrome set, but I think the actual design, I've got to give them credit. The design is very nice, and some of the cards I've seen on it are definitely going to have some sort of value. But like you say, if you hit your Haaland and Bellingham base cards to 75, which is the highest number, realistically, what, 40 quid, 30, 40 quid maybe, if that. So you've got to hit numbered. And then it's a case of, like Lucas was saying it, and I'd like to know your responses. Is it more nerve-wracking when you open the base cards and you get low numbered hit? He hit a 1 of 1 in the base cards. Not a big player, it was Angus Nuff. But surely then you think, these are going to be terrible.
Yeah, I think, you hit a 1 of 1 in just a generic base card, you're going to think, well, I'm not going to get particularly lucky and then hit like a low numbered in an auto. So, anything can happen in these boxes. And, we've seen some pretty mad pulls from the PSG boxes. But yeah, in my opinion, I think, if you've pulled a 1 of 1 in a base cards, that's probably going to be your hit for the box. I think, the main question mark that I had around this set was, how is it going to affect other Bellingham and Haaland auto prices? Obviously, you've got the Bellingham auto in Club Chrome, I think it is, where he's putting that little sticking his tongue out with putting his mouth open. I think on the auto there, I think that's going for about 900 to a K, I think it was last time I checked. Obviously, the top Chrome Dortmund are going to be going obviously lower in price than that will be, being just a team Chrome set. But I'm interested to see whether it does either boost that price up or lower the price, given the fact there's more autos of him now on the market. Same with Haaland. Same as what it's going to do for that. So, but yeah, going back to the original question, I think, yeah, if you've hit a 1 of 1 in the base card quite early on, in my opinion, that is probably going to be your hit for the box.
Yeah, and I think obviously just like the PSG one, when they did release the Chrome, they released the created set as well for Dortmund, which I was pleasantly surprised to see one Thomas Rositzky on the front cover. Sadly, not an auto, because I was really hoping that they would have got him down to a auto deal, and then I'll be able to get an Arsenal Rositzky card, which would be an absolute dream for me. But then, like we said, I'm just looking through the autos, and now obviously the hits, I think, are in every 5 to 1 in 7, and obviously the big guys are going to be 1 in every 200-300. But it's a very similar one. You've got Kobel, Munier, Wowza, who are right back Spanish, who isn't in the Chrome set, so it's a slightly different there. Hummel, Zagadou, Guerrero, Akanji, Dahoud, Bellingham, Royce, Brandt, Chan, Witzel, Rayner, Nuff, Marlon, Makoko, Haaland. So all of them are the same. And then you've got 2 more of Stefan Tigges, who is on loan at FC Köln, I think, at the moment, and Marinim Panarachi. So you've got 3 players who autos you can get in there, and then believe it or not, only 2 relic card players you can get for the Dortmund created set is Jude Bellingham and Yusufa Makoko. So it's an interesting one. It's, if you like a gamble, you always open them. It's autograph in 1 in every 10 boxes, and they are £20 a box. So realistically, you're spending, if you want to play the law of averages, every £200 spent is an auto card, but that's no guarantee. And the odds of hitting realistically a Bellingham, Haaland, and Makoko in that to somehow get your money back is very low. So the creative sets are always a gamble. I think no one will disagree with that, but I do like the creative sets, especially if you're a fan of the team. I don't know if you would agree with this, but it's just nice to have your own card set, a bit more designed to your actual club itself, and have some different cards.
Yeah, definitely. I think, we spoke about it with a couple of other curated sets previously on another episode. So it is nice when you get one, also especially designated to Jude Bellingham. I think there's a lot more hype around that set, given the fact that obviously it is Jude's. But I think it is really good to have, and really cool to have like a curate. I can't say the word properly. The curated set, obviously around a certain player. I think it brings a bit more of a hype, a bit more of a personal set. I think the hype that's around Bellingham at the moment, even after the World Cup now and how well he's played, is only going to make that sort of more appealing, even at a £20 price tag, like you said. No matter on whether it's an auto over 10 boxes, an auto every box, it's always had a bit more of a hype around the fact that it is Bellingham. I don't think it's a fun rip, like the England set. The England set was, so it's a cheap, fun rip. But the chance of getting a lower numbered player or an auto of Haaland or Bellingham, anything can happen. Obviously, in a Cyberman box, I pulled an auto from an only box that I bought, but people have bought 4 boxes, not pulled anything. So it could be another one-hit wonder. But I think they're really cool when you get these sets that are designated to a player, especially someone like like Bellingham. So I'm looking forward to seeing obviously some pulls and some being ripped open and seeing what sort of hits can be had.
Yeah, and obviously talk about the one and only Jude Bellingham. This week, Topps did finally release his Platinum Crate set, very similar to the Jose Mourinho one. The boxes are 75 card base set, 5 packs, 5 cards per box. So you get 30. So basically 2.5 boxes to get the whole base set. Get an autograph per box and 2 numbered parallels. However, just like the Simon set you just mentioned before we look at the checklist of autos and stuff in it, there is 50 golden tickets. And if you're lucky enough to get one of them, you get a meet and greet with Jude Bellingham. So I don't care what anyone tells me. If that is the chase. If you get a meet Bellingham, bloody hell, that's cool. Like if they're ever pulled, because you know what's going to happen. The 50 boxes that are sitting on a shelf somewhere will have the 50 meet and greets in it. But anyone who did buy a box of that, wish you the best of luck with that, because like I said, that is a great chase to actually be able to meet the man himself. Like I say, I think this is quite a good thing Topps are bringing in. Like you say, the Sidemen set had it originally with the golden tickets, which not many have been pulled, I've seen, or whatever it would be. So I think this is, I quite like having something else to chase in the box and actually something in real life.
I've just realised I've been talking about the Bellingham set the whole time. You were about the Dortmund set, weren't you? I've just clocked that. I'm thinking I'm talking about this Bellingham set, and now you're talking about it again. Now I'm thinking, what's going on? Anyway, moving on from that. Yeah, no, I think that golden ticket is going to be such a big chase. I think the chance of meeting an England player, and it's cool how they're integrating that into these sort of card hobby boxes now, that you've got a chance of hitting a golden ticket to go and obviously have a meet and greet with none other than Jude Bellingham. So I think that's it. Yeah, as you say, in my opinion, I'd rather hit that than a Jude Auto. You can get one signed in person with him. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a really cool set, and I'm interested to see whether anyone actually lists them up. Because what people like in hobby, people get these gold tickets and list them on eBay or ask for a best offer on Instagram. But I mean, to me, that's priceless. If you pull that from a box and you got a chance to go and meet Jude Bellingham, I think you've pretty much got your money's worth back from the box already. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the boxes. I think they're going to be some pretty cool cards, and especially said the golden ticket to meet Jude. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what they're like when that's released, and yeah, should be another good set.
Yeah, like we say, it's 2 parallels per box, 1 autograph card per box, and the parallels are very similar to most created sets out there. So you can get 99, 49, 25, 10, 5, and 1. And I thought, I wonder what the checklist of autos is like for this set. And I don't think I've seen a bigger checklist of autos for a set like this ever. I thought, oh, it's going to be a nice, like 10 names for me to read out. And I've now committed to reading out all of these names, and it's a lot more than I was expecting. So you've got 5 different, apart from obviously the Jude Bellingham on-card autos that you can get and sticker autos. You've got current stars, which feature Neymar, Messi, Haaland, Nkunku, Benzema, Vinny, Lewandowski, Fati, Jesus, Nunez, Kane, Son, Havertz, and Noah Okafor, which to begin with is a very solid list of players. Moving on to midfield maestros, Pedri, Mount, Charles de Ketelaere, Camavinga, Modric, De Bruyne, Grealish, Kroos, Thiago Tonali, Bruno, Joshua Kimmich, Jorginho, Szoboszlai, Federico Valverde, Jude Bellingham. Moving on to legends, Gerrard, Rooney, Lampard, Yaya Toure, which is quite a cool one, Iniesta, Kaká, Figo, Xavi, Pirlo. The future, which is Fabio Carvalho, Alejandro Garnacho, Pablo Torre, Rocco Simic, Warren Zaire-Emery, Ilias Akomic, and then teammates Gio Reyna and Kareem Adeyemi. So that is a bit of a checklist for some potential autos in there, isn't it?
That is a mouthful and a half. Jesus.
Yeah, I thought, oh, it's going to be like 15, 20. But like you say, there's some good chases in there. Like, obviously, not all the autos are going to be worth a ton of money, but there's no one in there that I'd be like, oh, I'm really disappointed with their autos. It's actually quite a lot of them have got selling power behind them.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've got some even the legends like Yaya Toure. Doesn't obviously sign that often. So I think it's going to be a pretty cool set. And I said there's not really one in there that stands out. You think, oh, I'd hate to get that auto, or it's going to be that one auto that everyone gets in the box is like, oh, it's him again. Like, it keeps popping up left, right, and centre. But because how big was Mourinho's platinum set in terms of checklist? Was it the same size?
I am going to check that out now because they've just been starting to. I think they was delivered a couple of weeks ago, so obviously these are going to be a few weeks before we actually see them in people's hands. But let me have a look at the Mourinho set because, like you say, it's quite interesting to compare these platinum sets, which is their new kind of thing to go for. The auto set on that one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 players. So a lot less. A
Yeah.
lot less.
Well, whether that's coming from a manager, obviously being Mourinho, whether due to see a player to play with a lot more plays that he wanted to put in his set. Whether Jude even gets a say in who he puts on the set, I don't know. But obviously, yeah, I think being a manager, obviously, it's a lovely, a massively smaller set. Obviously, being a manager then obviously would be for Bellingham. But yeah, obviously, as I said, Mourinho's just started being delivered now, so hopefully early into the new year we should start seeing the Bellingham sets delivered, or at this point probably into February with the Royal Mail strikes that are going on. But yeah, obviously looking forward to seeing when they are finally in hand what the cards look like.
Yeah, and I
in
think
person, that is.
yeah, definitely. And I think if it follows by the same agenda of people get created set gets chrome set, the three that spring to my mind is Liverpool, Chelsea, and Barcelona. They would be expensive ones, and the one I can think of in that, if there was a Liverpool created set, it would be the first ever Mohamed Salah auto, which would be quite a nice one to see in terms of chasing. So I'm liking it that Tops are going out there now to get the exclusive deals of clubs to get these sets, and obviously the fans of the clubs. Obviously, not a lot of people are going to open them anyway, so lovely sets. But having your own team set would be lovely. I'd like to say I'd love a Arsenal created set, and Chrome obviously would be very expensive, but it's definitely a step in the right direction for Tops to do these sets. And obviously, I think the first one was Salzburg, which actually the first one was Real Sociedad a couple of years ago, and then like this kind of 12-month period, the first one was Salzburg, and they only retailed in comparison to the others for like 1,500, I think, when it first came out. For it had a load of young players, which was not too bad. Obviously, that's near enough 8k more cheaper than the PSG set. So it'd be quite intriguing to see what 2023 holds for Tops and what other sets. No doubt they've got teams' licenses like waiting to go. Like saying they're getting more people signed up. Quite interesting to see like the new Inception and the new Deco that come out. Seems ages ago, and I still can't remember seeing any of them being delivered yet, because obviously there's some nice Arsenal cards in there. So I know summer signings obviously always rocks around. They'll probably do a winter signings as well, and then by the time you know it, be the new Tops Champions League Chrome, Sapphire again, F1 Chrome, Women's Chrome. It's quite. I'm more leaning towards Tops releases at the moment, especially the ones that you can get on the UK site. So obviously, when we come to Panini, it's going to be that bit harder. But hopefully, it's Fanatics in 2023, which will be very interesting. But we're probably dedicate an episode, I think, coming up maybe just after Christmas. Maybe look back at 2022 in the card world, and looking forward to 2023. But like I say, it's quite an interesting period, especially with the World Cup, what was done for card prices. Obviously, Christmas doesn't help being at the same time as the World Cup, because Christmas is never the cheapest period of time, no matter what. Seems like everyone wants to go out for a drink, even though it's minus 77. But like I say, it's going to be quite intriguing. And obviously, our PCs have picked up quite a few new cards this year in 2022. So briefly, like obviously, is there any cards that you're thinking about, or even players? Let's talk about players. Any players that you're thinking about maybe branching into for a PC, or just getting some more cards of, or stickers?
Yeah, I think as a whole, obviously, it's just about improving the Arsenal PC. I'd love to get more Saka and more Martinelli. I think as Jesus gets more Arsenal cards, I'd like to build the PC around Jesus. Obviously, Saliba. I mean, I could pick any Arsenal player at the moment. Obviously, I'm massively in love with Arsenal and how we're doing. So I think I'd be happy with any player. But no, yeah, I'd like to pick up, especially some like Zinchenko and Jesus cards when they start having some more Arsenal cards released, with that being Mosaic, Prism, whatever set. Also, I want to finish off the Gunther Steiner Rainbow as well. So again, another plea, if anyone does have the to 10 or the to 5 from 2021 flagship, the black or the red, shout me. The last two I need for the rainbow. The one of one did just pop at SGC, and I think it will hopefully be in hand at some point next week from our good friend L Trade Soccer. But yes, I think for me, Pierre Gasly as well. Obviously, he's moving over to the team has escaped me. Alpine next season. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he gets on. But again, obviously Gasly, Hamilton, and Gunther being the three from F1. I think just Arsenal in general. I'd like to pick up some more Bellingham. I think obviously I picked up his Aqua from Stadium Club Chrome. I think the way he's played at the World Cup, and depending on a potential move, obviously in the January transfer window, to see where he could be off to, or whether it's in late one in the year. But that's what the main PC focus for next year, and just seeing what I can build. And I'd love to pick up another 1-of-1, hopefully as an Arsenal player. Obviously, I managed to pick up the Gunther Signer 1-of-1 for the F1 PC. But yeah, I'd love to pick up a 1-of-1 for an Arsenal player and get one of those into the PC as well.
Yeah, I think, like I say, rainbow completion would be the ideal goal. But I think anyone who knows when you're chasing a card, when it's especially low numbered, it's just the luck. It's literally the luck of the gods that either someone pulls it, you never know, someone can literally pull it and then list it up on eBay, or it just comes up on a DC Sports 87 kind of auction site, eBay, or it literally, like, you've got to be lucky. You know, no doubt you probably know someone who might have the card, but they don't know they've got it themselves.
Yeah.
So hopefully one day they open up their storage box and actually oh wait, that's to 10. Oh, might as well sell that, and then it ends up in your possession. But like you said, you've got the 1-of-1, so you've got the hardest one to get. So now it's about finding the ones that are more common, but somehow harder to get.
Yeah, literally, think I had the 1-of-1 before I even had the base card. That's how backwards I actually did it. But yeah, I was really pleased to pick it up. And as I said, hopefully I can potentially pick up a 1-of-1 from Arsenal next year and try and complete a rainbow. Obviously for that, I know you've massively struggled with Leno trying to complete the rainbow from prison with that 1-of-1 you got. We won't talk about that too much, but yeah, looking forward to obviously going into another year of collecting and seeing where we're going to be at when we do this discussion again at the end of 2023.
No, definitely. I think it'd be quite an intriguing year, especially how the market plays out. Is there a different focus? Whereas this year I picked up quite a lot of more modern approach. Obviously, helped really boosting the Jacques and Gabriel PC. Got quite a few more autos which I was tracking down, but I think for me next year it's vintage near enough of not just Arsenal players, but mainly obviously it's lovely to get your Dennis Bergkamps, Thierry Henry's, also Arsene Wenger stuff, but just picking up just unique cards that don't really see much, and then getting them graded just to protect them. Like, I want to try and get a few more, especially the players who I really liked when I was growing up. Obviously, like Kaka, for example, Ronaldinho, and then he's also going back. I would love to pick up a Maradona sticker. It doesn't even have to be the most expensive one in the world. Obviously, a Napoli one would be ideal, but even anything will do with him, especially if it's Barcelona. And then you've got to look at your all-time greats as well. I think it's always nice to pick up. I was recently looking at a few of the Arsenal ones. Obviously, a lot of people probably won't have heard of them here, but played in our first ever FA Cup win in the 30s. So I'm going to try and pick up some Cliff Baston, Ted Drake, and Eddie Hapgood stuff, which is more a case just tracking it down in good condition and then getting it graded, which is going to be my goal for next year. Just some pieces. I want to get some more things with a piece of history of where has this item been for the last 80, 90 years to come into my possession. Like someone pulled it out of a cigarette box in 1935, and then all this time later now I want to get it, send it off for grading. Like, there's obviously quite a few cards that will get graded in the next year and really boost up the collection for graded. Especially one that's not in the best of condition. I really don't care if it gets authentic. I've got a Club Colours, which is from 1906, which is one of my favourite. It's literally cost me about £3, but just having that is 116 years old, 117 years old next year. Get that in the collection is just crazy to me. So, like I say, I think vintage is going to be one of them, and just there's just this aura I feel with vintage, and like the patina on it, like we've said a lot of time on here before. It's literally has been around for longer than you have, and then you can get it slabbed up great. I think it's great. Or even like some of these French stickers. When we was at the South Coast Card Show, Max showed me a few of the ones he picked up, and he recently picked up like a Drogba sticker, and it's just really cool. That's what I really like about the Wenger ones. And like I say, I think vintage is really a really good thing to invest in, and not even for profit, just to look at. I think there's a story behind it, and I think that's maybe what I want to do more. It's not obviously everyone loves to make money off the hobby. People try and do that, But at the end of the day, you're in it for fun. And when you have a nice display of old stickers, or you can take it with you to a show, it's just a talking point. And no doubt, I know you've got a couple of vendors off at SGC at the moment, which hopefully will come back a nice score. But it's like you say, it's just like, especially the French League one and the first Arsenal thing. It's just something about it. It's just the aura with these that I want to invest more in.
Yeah, I think it's one thing getting a sticker obviously in a top loader. I think when you actually get graded and slabbed up, and in my opinion, SGC would always be the way that I would go for vintage. I think the actual black slab looks so nice, and yeah, I'm obviously really excited to get those two Wengers back. I think it's not going to be until maybe the end of this year or the beginning of next year, or next month. I could even say at this point. So yeah, looking forward to getting those back. But it's just that element of having them slabbed up, and like you said, a sticker that's older than me, my dad, my granddad, whatever. Like they're 116 years old. That one you've got, and it's just mad to be able to get that, even if it's just authentic in SGC. Like to have that all protected and slabbed up from a card that's 116 years old is mad. So yeah, obviously looking forward to getting those back from Graydon. But I think you're right in the sense of the vintage market could be massively on the up next year. I think people are clinging on or coming forward to the fact that vintage and grading is going to be big. I know we were having that chat with Wedding Collectibles, obviously at South Coast, with how you can buy a sticker from 1950s, 1960s for £3, get it graded and it's worth 70. Like there's so many big plays you could do from vintage to grading to resale, or just buying a sick sticker you've seen for £3 and grading it yourself for your own PC. But I think vintage could be massively on the up next year. But as you say, anything could happen. We don't know what's going to happen in January. It could be a massive release, could be a massive, downfall or upsize and grading. We don't know what could happen. But yeah, definitely, I think vintage could be on the up next year.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the one thing I'm really looking forward to in 2023 is getting my Arsene Wenger last game against Huddersfield PSA slab back, which is off at grading, has been off at grading for the last 6 months, 7 months, I think. So really looking forward to getting that one back. Like you say, it's that one for me. I was saying it to one of my friends the other day. I said, if someone could offer me any money in the world, and I would never said it because I was at the game. It was my ticket. And it's just one of them would be a prizing thing. I was just getting it to get it protected. So I'm in two minds whether when it does pop, do I find the grade out or do I not find the grade out until I get it back in the post. So I'll probably wait until I get it back in hand and see what it is. But looking forward to get that. That'll be my first ticket slab. I know you've got the Bukayo Saka rookie one from the Europa League debut, like his professional debut, which was in the Europa League. So even that could be a play next year in terms of seeing how the ticket market goes as well. So like I think it's going to be quite. We're going to try and get a few people on to talk about what went well in 2022 and what's going to be better in 2023. Well, obviously coming up, hopefully between now and next year, which, believe it or not, it's only about 20 days away, about 3 weeks' time. So it's going to be very intriguing. And like I say, December is a weird month in the card world because a lot of cards are listed up for sale, but not everyone's got the money to be buying them because of treating everyone at Christmas and going out drinks, or if people do end up venturing to Winter Wonderland in London and spending all their money on a pint of beer, which definitely is, well, this guy over here.
Guilty.
Which has got to be done for a lot of people. No doubt I'll probably be drawn into it very soon as well. So, like we say, it's always intriguing just to see what's going to happen in 2023. And obviously, everyone has high hopes. But by the time you know it, Premier League Prism, Chronicles, and all of the latter will be released, and it all starts again. And then we'll be looking forward to Premier League, which starts in 2 weeks. So, like I say, it's great. I don't think. Did you pick up anything this week? We haven't done it for a few weeks, but obviously it's been quite quiet in terms of the last couple of weeks for both of us, I think.
In terms of pickups, I actually haven't, apart from the Steiner to 50 I got in the post recently. I mean, L Trade Soccer has literally just texted me and said that my Steiner has popped up at his house. So that is a good sign. So that'll be a pickup, I guess, for next week. If you can class it as a pickup, I don't really know. Mailed, I guess I can class it as. But otherwise, no, I think I'm holding off until January and trying to really go look and find hard for these two Steiners I have left for the rainbow. And yeah, I think I've got into the mindset now. I'm just sort of going to pick up stuff that I really want, as opposed to obviously picking up stuff for the sake of it. But yeah, obviously count it down to February as well for the well eagerly awaited London Card Show. Looking forward to that in February. But otherwise, yeah, just nothing really pickup wise for me for the last couple of weeks. Yourself?
I've picked up 2 items, cheap ones on eBay in America. First one is a Mosaic Scripts auto of Eduardo da Silva, which I managed to pick up for $3 plus postage. I think it worked out about $7.75, which I've seen them over here go for about 15 quid. So I thought that was quite a decent price. Then I picked up a Beth Mead Chrome to 150 for $10. So two I couldn't really pass up on. Lucky enough, they weren't too expensive that I could still get them. So otherwise, not much. Just waiting to get some bits over from the States, hopefully before Christmas, if not just after. And then there'll be a few bits to go up from south from there, and then it starts the new year again. So, like I say, it's going to be quite an intriguing period. We look forward to hopefully, well, we should be bringing you the top loaded Christmas quiz, which would be lovely. Christmas fired next episode. I will be digging out my Santa's hat and
Well, I
have
say
to
my
have
Christmas jumper's coming on for that, or maybe even a Christmas suit. I've got a Christmas suit. I could see that
oh,
on.
well, we know who's in charge of the Christmas around here. I'm gonna have to try and find a hat somewhere in a drawer somewhere, and this guy's gonna be turning up with mistletoe hanging off his nose and everything in between. So hopefully next week we'll be bringing you the top loaded Christmas quiz, which will be a load of fun, a bit of Christmas joy for this time of year, and then the episode in between Christmas and New Year will hopefully be a look back on 2022 and a look forward to 2023 with a couple of people within the UK hobby themselves. But like I say, it's been another great episode. Really look forward to it. Really love all the feedback. And most importantly, I hope everyone enjoys the last week of the World Cup as this is going out. The Argentina versus Croatia game will just be kicking off. So hope everyone enjoys that. Morocco, France, and then obviously, I would say third and fourth playoff, but that's the most pointless game of football in my eyes. And then the big one on Sunday, the World Cup final. So thank you everybody for listening along. Hope everyone out there stays safe. Have a lovely festive period. Happy holidays. And most importantly, happy hobbying. Good night.